mystery. Evolution is a mystery, but it's no mystery that this show's pish. I see the line in the sand. The birds are twerping here. It's 12 minutes to 8. I promised I'd be here talking about evolution. I tell you what, probably one of the worst night sleeps, folks, I've ever had, but less about my sleeping and more about some WWE, because it's time to talk about WWE Evolution. Immediately, before we get into the actual show, I would say fair play to Triple H. You know what? Because, well, I say fair play. I think there was a few surprising things on this show. Like Naomi cashing in on Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. I didn't see that coming. I did not see that coming, folks. I have to be brutally honest, and we've been kind of bashing that for ages, saying, oh, it's so predictable. Naomi's going to cash in on Jade at the pay-per-view at SummerSlam after she defeats Tiffany. But, yeah, tell you what, they pulled the trigger, so I'll give them credit for that. On the other hand, though, there's plenty to bury them for. Now, our hosts for this was Joe Testori and Stephanie McMahon, so they're really pushing the women quite hard on this. But see, I don't get, why not make the commentary by women as well? Why not go all out? Ring announcer is Alicia Taylor, so you know what I mean? I think that would have worked. Anyway, first match, Becky Lynch defeats Bayley and Laya Valkyria in a title threat match for WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. Again, I actually thought this was not the worst thing I've ever seen, especially the finish, right? That because Bayley rolled up Lyra, and then Becky did this transition where she rolled up Bayley from the roll up. And you know what? You've got to give props and credit where it's due, because this is a unique finish. I'm not saying it's never been done before, but I honestly can't recall one time it has been done. Obviously, I'm willing to bet money that it has been done, but yeah, it looked smooth. It's not a case of doing it, it's executing it well, and I feel like they did execute it very well. So fair play to all involved here, even though Laya Valkyria kind of just sat on the deck and accepted it and was like, yeah, but I mean, I guess if you want to have any problems, it would be the fact that Becky Lynch is still the Intercontinental Champion. It was a time for her to lose the belt. I don't know, but let's be real, folks. The feud itself is rather boring. The three of them feuding together is boring. It doesn't really matter which one-on-one match you pick out of the three. It's still pretty boring. I mean, let's be honest, damn it. We're always honest, but yeah. Creative ending. So from that perspective, no bad. We then showed a bunch of people. Who was it? NXT GM Ava was in the ring. Mark Henry and Vicky Guerrero. And they were rumouring for quite a time that Vicky Guerrero was going to return. Excuse me. No, I don't understand, right? And I mean, it has took me before 2025 to realise this. But how was Eddie Guerrero ever with Vicky Guerrero? You know what I mean? It's not like Vicky Guerrero in 2005 was an absolute, roaster and was fantastic. She never looked that good. And you always felt like Eddie Guerrero could have done, and he's Latino heat, for fuck's sake, folks, you know what I mean? I don't really understand what's going on there. Because from a kayfabe perspective, I don't know. Maybe Vicky doesn't come across as a great person. I mean, she's played a pretty good heel character, but I don't know. I don't know her personally, but you know what I mean? She does look like a bit of a munter, no offence, Eddie, but that's the fucking reality I'm going for here, brother. Mark Henry was there, looking pretty old. Sad. Everyone's looking pretty old, folks. Second match, JC Jane versus Jordan Grace. So Blake Monroe in the corner of her. You've got Fatal Influence in the corner of JC Jane. WWE NXT title on the line. Again, this match, very long, very boring there. JC Jane actually picks up the victory. And it's essentially because of Blake Monroe. But again, it's so she helps Jordan Jace yesterday. Great American Bash, we know the day. Make it make sense. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Tell you what, I'm walking here, man, and over the course of this walk, my stomach has just got sorer and sorer and sorer and sorer. It feels like what's that one bro? Kenny Omega have diverticulitis or something? It's too early for me to even begin how to pronounce diverticulitis. That's probably it. But then Blake gives JCJ a title. So I mean, is that the feud? Blake versus Jordan Grace. I mean, they were like pally for like what? 10 seconds. Doesn't make much sense to me, to be honest. But it is what it is. It then showed a bunch of WWE legends in the house. You had Jazz, Ivory, Jacqueline, and Maurice. I like Maurice's theme song, it's pretty good. Anyway, third match, the Judgment Day versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus the Kabuki Warriors versus Soruka and Saria in a fatal four-way match. Funny thing is, I tried to pause it there for a sneeze because only I would get a cold in like this heat. Albeit this morning is a lot cooler. Well, I say it's a lot cooler. I mean, it's actually 3 minutes to 8 and it's like 20 degrees, but it was raining, so the air feels a bit cooler. But far from ideal. But I mean, this was just your typical 8-women's match. Some bits were sloppy. There was some decent spots, like, you know what, Soruka is impressing me. The Jambo Bear, son of Scotland, whatever you want to call him, he likened her to Rob Van Dam. So, is that the comparison to make? I'm not too sure. But I mean, that's as high as praise as it's going to get for her. I mean, let's be real. I mean, the female Rob Van Dam, I don't think anybody can honestly make that claim, ever. Like I'm trying to think of a female that reminded me of Rob Van Dam. Like, I don't ever really recall a female having like this laid-back stoner gimmick. You know what I mean? Don't understand it, because I feel like that's actually one thing in wrestling history that they've lacked from a woman's perspective. Like actually having someone that's like, you know, from the beach and is like laid back and stoned and all that shite. So yeah, interesting nonetheless. But yeah, like I said, this match was alright. I'm not going to sit here and pretend it was the greatest thing ever or the worst thing ever, damn it. But yeah, like I say, some sloppiness in there. The Judgment Day retain. Don't know if that's the correct decision, Jake. You pulling me back there and nearly slicing my eyeball open was a real laugh there, son. So thank you. We then cut to Tori Ross, Alina, and Molly Holly are all in the house. Fair play. It's weird because all the people in the show so far are women, with the exception of Mark Henry. So, I don't know, kind of just feels weird seeing Mark Henry there, but it is what it is, pal. Anyway, up next is a Mods ice cream fan drives past. Anyone ever had a Mods? Let me know. It was Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus. It's the WWE Women's Championship. You know what, did I bury Trish overly the other week when I was like, she's old. When the reality is she is old. So let's not pretend 50 years old is young, especially for a woman in wrestling. Fuck me. You know, I'd argue the case 50 years old for a woman in wrestling is like 65 for a man. But anyway, I thought she got a good match here. Good, Tiffany. As the wind's picking up, it's getting with Jake. Why can't you just... Honestly, man, this guy, he gets the biggest amount of walks in the day, the most any dog's probably ever had. He's probably sitting number one. It's like that stat where it's like, who's got the most matches in wrestling history, and Kane's like top. Jake, I'd say you share 4 letters, man. Now, he was the big red retard, you're the big black retard, Jake. So, but it's what it is. So, moving on to this match between Tiffany and Trish. It was alright. It served what it needed to do, but the build-up's just been crap, man. Basically just another person that Tiffany Stratton's feuded with, and the gimmicks felt like, I'm young, you're old, even though Trish still looks better than Tiffany. It's weird, I think there's times when Tiffany Stratton looks great, and there's times I'm like, what happened there? Like, see on SmackDown when she came out, that like denim attire, I was like, that's no bad. That's great. But then, I don't know, there's something about her face, man. There's something about her face that just doesn't look right.
Plastic surgery?
Anyway, Tiffany wins. You know the score. Trish got a massive ovation at the end because she's a legend, damn it. And it was some good shit. The Lunds are blazing. Liliani Kai are in the house. I have no idea who Liliani Kai is. I'm going to assume that must be Dakota Kai's real name or something. Anyway, Jade Cargill versus Naomi versus Bianca Belair. Special guest. Well, no, sorry. No, Bianca Belair is a special guest referee. I mean, obviously, there's weapons used here, but see, after like, you know, a bunch of months ago, you watch like Blake Monroe, or not Blake Monroe, but what was her name in AEW? Mariah May versus Toni Storm. There's no women's match ever in a hardcore setup when it comes close to that, unless it was back in the day. But even then, I'd argue it's probably the best I've seen from the women. I know Victoria and Trish have had a few, and Leah's done a couple of things, but yeah, I mean, you couldn't really fault that one. As for this, I mean, yeah, they did use weapons, like, you know, steel chains, kendo sticks, the Money in the Bank briefcase, all this, but like, there's like a severe lackage of blood, you know what I mean? And there's just not really an awful lot happening in that department. And like, and if there's honestly, man, and I'll give these women decent praise here, if there's a feud in WWE that warrants blood, it's this one for me. And that's out of all the feuds that are possibly going on, so I do think they've been done dirty to a degree. But anyway, but you'd be naive to expect the amount of blood though that Mariah May and Toni Storm used, folks. Absolutely would be. But Cargill connects with the Avalanche through a table, picks up the victory. Jade Cargill wins. It was then announced for Raw that CM Punk will battle LA Knight, Penta, Breaker and Jey Uso in a gauntlet match. The winner will face Gunther for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam. So, you know what? Fair play to them here. You're getting a 5-man match with the winner taking on Gunther at SummerSlam. My only problem with the match is, like, you know, it kind of just feels like a load of jobbers. CM Punk's Punk, right? LA Knight just beat Rollins, albeit very shite circumstances, but here, he still has a victory over the guy. Then you've got Penta, who is a fucking bona fide jobber, and feels like the guy in this match that's literally got no chance. Braun Breaker, well, Seth Rollins injured, folks. If there's ever a time to push this guy, it's probably right here, right now. Then, you've got Jey Uso, right, who, yeah, former world champion, knows all about facing Gunther. Do we really need to see it again? No, we don't. Let's just call a spade, folks. We don't need to see it. Will they give us it again? I wouldn't be surprised if they did. And that's the problem for me, man. Because it's like, they cannot give us Gunther and Jey Uso. It's like, I mean, it's never going to be Penta, just write him out. Punk Gunther, they could do that. Because I would believe that Seth Rollins was definitely going to probably do something with Punk again. That's at the windy. So, yeah, you know what? It's kind of a wee bit unpredictable, but I would say outside of Penta, the other 4 have got a decent chance of winning this match, which is, for a 5-man match, you can't really ask for much more in terms of unpredictability. But again, this isn't coming out of their. This isn't a great creative mind here. I can guarantee you, if Seth Rollins didn't get injured, this match would not be happening with the same people. Yeah, I can guarantee you that. So again, their hand was forced here. Anyway, 6th match, Evolution Battle Royal. The winner will get a championship match at WWE Clash in Paris. So, I mean, let's talk about a few women here. Nikki Bella, Steffi Kier, Julia, Nia Jax, Chelsea Green, Maxine Dupree, Natalia, Piper Niven, Alba Fire, Meechin, B-Fab, Jada Parker, Izzy Dame, Tatum Paxley, Kalani Jordan, Lola Fi, Slash Legend, Ivy Nile, Selena Vega, Candice LeRae. I mean, considering the amount of like legends they had in the house, they could have definitely put more people in. Obviously with Liv Morgan's injury, I don't really know what that would have changed on this card. I mean, maybe Nikki Bella was going to take her on, it looked that way, but again, it was kind of going towards the Bellas versus Liv Morgan and Raquel, but it didn't go down that way. But anyway, this match, I mean, let's be honest, man, the women aren't that good when it comes to rumbles and battle royals. The men, who are superior in pretty much every way in wrestling, are always going to be better at these matches, and I feel like every time the women do it, it's sloppy to a degree that if Akira wins, eliminates Lash Legend. I don't really understand it with Lash Legend though, because this is somebody who came down to the main roster like last year, then goes back to NXT, her whole faction pretty much gets released, and then what? She's last year eliminated. I don't really know what the future holds for her. It's very hot and cold. Anyway, moving on. English is not my first language, but I won. I won the match. Well done. Where to, Stephanie? Where to, Stephanie? Brilliant. Right. 6th match as Jake drags me down the hill. Brilliant, son. That's what I'm here for. Thanking you. Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley versus Naomi. Aye, Naomi cashed in. What the hell? Naomi cashed in. I mean, this match between Io Sky and Ripley, it was never going to be a bad match because you do have two of the more capable women here. But by God, the feud's fucking tragic, man. I mean, Rhea Ripley wins the match or the tournament to get this like shot, and it felt like on that Raw that Io Sky was the one coming out challenging Ripley and accepting her. It was just cringe. It's like, no, the winner of that tournament got to choose who the title opponent was, not the fucking champion. Oh man, I don't know. Just garbage. Garbage all around, folks. No two ways about it. But Naomi wins. As an ambulance goes past, say you want. No one's seen this coming. Who's seen Naomi cashing in on this match? But I tell you what, this match needs something. Because like I said, the feud was fucking tragic going into it. So yeah, they gave us something different. But all in all, folks, that is your pay-per-view. A few surprising things, a few decent moments, a few decent spots, but you know, didn't watch it last night because I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend if this was a men's pay-per-view I'd have been watching it. I probably wouldn't have been watching it, but there's always, I mean, I know there's only been 2 women's pay-per-views, but it's even when you watch a normal show, nothing big. You never feel like anything big's going to happen with the women. As bad as wrestling is, if anything good, like properly good's going to happen, it's going to be with the men, because that's what you associate with back in the day. And the stuff that the women did good back in the day can rarely happen these days. And we all know why. Gunther is looking down at the ring with a look of disgust and